Hey guys, Jason here. Welcome to my third ever Q&A video. The video where you ask questions and I answer them. Sorry it's been a while since I've done one of these, but between life and my other projects, I'm not really able to do Q&As that often. But hopefully I'll be able to do more of these in the future, and hopefully I'll be able to answer your questions for today. I will be answering 5 questions from the community, and I will try my best to answer them. So you might not get a 100% answer, but I will definitely try my best. But anyway, without further ado, let's get on with the first question. Our first question for today is from Michael Tedford 2, and he asks, what is your favorite series you made on your channel? That's a tough one. I do like the majority of them. But if I had to pick one, I would probably go with my Magnus series, because that's the one I was most passionate about. Ever since I was a kid, I was always fascinated with prehistoric life, whether it was dinosaurs, prehistoric mammals, or even the synopsids that came before the dinosaurs. Anything prehistory is what I love, mainly because I love hearing about the facts about certain dinosaurs or certain animals and what their abilities were, how big they were, how small they were, and I always found it very fascinating. I love a lot of games that are prehistoric related, like for example, Jurassic World the game, Jurassic World Alive, Ark Survival Evolved, Jurassic World Evolution. Like the list goes on. I just love anything prehistoric. And it's always been a passion of mine. And my Project Prehistorica series is kind of inspired by both Jurassic Park and Ark Survival Evolved. Jurassic Park because you're reviving dinosaurs and all that crap. But Ark as well because you're having prehistoric creatures from different ecological eras coexisting with one another. In my opinion, that's just one of the greatest concepts I've ever heard. The only reason I don't post as many Magnus videos as I used to is because they just don't do nearly as well as some of my other series, such as my Error series or Sodor Fallout series. Apparently you guys like me getting jump scared. But I digress. Anyway, my favorite series is my Magnus series because that was the series I was most passionate about. And if I could do another Magnus video and it would get loads of views, then I would, Like, I would like to get back onto the biomes of Magnus, talk about the different biomes on the planet and stuff like that. And, I really want to get back into Magnus because I feel like it's not done yet, and it's like a really cool concept, if you know what I mean. Well, I hope that answered your question, Michael. Let's move on to the second question. Question number 2 is from Shannon Humphreys, and she asks, will there be any more redemption errors in the future? Only if people want them, and seeing how the Thomas Error 2 is doing, then that's not out of the realm of possibility. It could happen. I might leave a poll later on seeing if you guys want it, and then another poll seeing which engine you want to return. When I decided that I wanted to make a direct sequel to one of my errors, I made a poll asking you guys which engine you wanted to return, and the majority of you voted Thomas. So when I made the Thomas Error 2, I wanted to find a way to, make, whatever his intentions were completely justified, to make you feel bad for Thomas. Because in the first one, he was kind of a jerk. So for the sequel, I wanted to explore why he was such a jerk and why he became evil. And as a result, it was actually kind of sad. I was honestly trying not to cry while I was making this, It got really emotional. Thomas trying to fight the nightmare mode, and it was just a tragic fest. You know, I'll create a poll in the near future seeing which Thomas character you want me to make a direct sequel of next, because a lot of you seem to want another redemption, you know? And I can kind of see why, because I actually feel bad for these errors, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Hopefully that answers your question, Shannon. And without further ado, let's move on to question 3. Question number 3 is from Traincraft 101, and they ask, how do you get the evil mode voice effects for your error videos? For my voices, I typically use the Movavi video editing software, but it is limited to what voices you can do. You can kind of mix the voices up a little bit when you detach the audio, copy and paste, whatever, put the two audios together and whatnot. You can still do that, but it's pretty limited. But if you want like a voice that's like with unlimited options, I recommend Audacity. I sometimes use that for my voices as well. Not very often, but you know, I sometimes do. But yeah, for the evil modes, I typically try to make it like a little demonic for the first one, and then more demonic for the second one, and then the third and fourth, so on and so forth, you know. And right now we're just going to talk about the first 5 evil modes, 1st through 5th, because if I talk about every single evil mode and what I do, we'll be here all day. So let's talk about just the first 5 evil modes. For the first evil mode, I typically use the robot sound effect by itself because it kind of sounds demonic, but it's only the beginning of the evil mode, so it leaves room for even worse and scarier voices. But yeah, it's a good start, like a kind of a scary start if you ask me. The iconic red eyes that are in the first evil mode are just, you know, unmistakable. For the second evil mode voice, I typically add a low-pitched voice to the robot voice to make it sound a little more demonic, you know, because the second evil mode is supposed to be a little bit scarier than the first evil mode, but not by much. The red-eyed death stare becomes the green-eyed death stare, you know, and it's the calm before the storm, before stuff gets worse, you know. That's the second evil mode right there. The third evil mode I kind of had a little bit of trouble with because I couldn't really decide what voice would fit best for the third evil mode, so I would try experimenting upon it, and I finally got it by adding a very low-pitched voice to the already low-pitched and robot voice that the second evil mode has. But at one point it had a high-pitched voice along with the two, and I don't know, it just didn't really fit that well. Like, listen to my old third evil mode and then my new third evil mode and see the comparison.
So this is the original third evil mode voice.
And this is the current one. Which one do you like better? Let me know in the comments down below. For the fourth evil mode voice, I try a voice that's a little more docile than the previous 3, simply because I'm trying to mimic the voice of Damien from the Go Animate voices, you know, from the typical Barney errors and stuff like that. And basically, this is kind of the calm before the storm before the fifth evil mode, which is a lot more demonic. But yeah, this is basically, I typically go back and forth with the low-pitched and very low-pitched voice, depending on if the error has a devil mode or not, which the devil mode always has a very low-pitched voice. But yeah, I typically go back and forth between the low-pitched and very low-pitched voice with the fourth evil mode, but yeah, that's why it's actually a lot more docile than the previous 3. For the fifth and final evil mode voice, it's back to the demonic voice, and not only that, but I also like to put more anger into this voice, because this is supposed to be the most terrifying of the 5 evil modes, you know? And basically you see the red pupils along with the black eyes, it's supposed to be very deadly, you know, and it's just I put a lot of anger into it, and sometimes, as you can see with the Henry error, Henry literally had to go back into his normal mode to calm down, you know? And it's just, I don't know, man. The fifth evil mode is just not to be messed with, you know? But yeah, anyway.
I hope that answers your question. Let's move on to the fourth one. Question number 4 is from Fionn Conway, and it asks, who's your favorite villain? I'm just gonna get right into this one. Scar from The Lion King is my favorite villain of all time. The reason for this is because Jeremy Irons does such a great job voicing him, and he's such a malevolent villain. One of the most malevolent villains I've ever seen. He's one of the very few villains that was able to succeed in one of his plans. He managed to eliminate his very own brother Mufasa and basically become king for a short period of time. He may have failed to defeat Simba, but he did succeed at something, which is really an accomplishment for a villain. Because most villains typically fail to their plans, but not Scar. And Scar almost took over the Pride Lands in the Lion Guard as well. If it wasn't for Kion, he would have been successful, but, you know, Scar is just a really cool villain, and, you know, he's very dark, very malevolent, and overall a very bad lion, you know? He also has one of the greatest villain musical numbers in any musical. While all my friends were jamming to Hakuna Matata, I was humming Be Prepared in the back of the classroom. It's just an amazing song. And have you ever listened to Be Prepared in a foreign language like German or French? I heard those versions were even scarier. But those are just my opinions right there. You could be the judge of that and watch them yourself. But let me know what your favorite villain is in the comment section down below. And without further ado, let's move on to the 5th and final question for today. Our final question for today is from Logan Lee James, and he asks, what's your favorite game? My favorite game is still Ark Survival Evolved, and I still stand by it. Because the open world survival game is just a really cool concept. Having dinosaurs and prehistoric mammals coexist with one another. It's just one of the coolest concepts I've ever seen. And I've talked about that in question 1, I think it was. And yeah, it was question 1. And it's just a really cool concept. Though saying that, I did love playing Jurassic World Evolution for a long time. Ever since it came out in June of 2018, it was just a really cool game. And with all the DLCs coming out, I was able to add more dinosaurs and, you know, and you got new content, keeping the game fresh and keeping me playing the game and all that. But once they stopped support in Return to Jurassic Park, I kind of lost interest. Then I got involved with a modding community and downloaded mods, but even that became boring after a while because every modded creature that came out would have the same animation rig. You know, like for example, like a lot of the smaller carnivores would have Herrerasaurus's animation, or some carnivores would have Allosaurus's animation, or T-Rex's or Spinosaurus's animation, and it got tiresome after a while, if you know what I mean. I would love to see a mod developer, like someone in the modding community, create a creature from scratch with its own animations, its own this, its own that. The chances of that are very slim, but that would be amazing, you know? But yeah, after Return to Jurassic Park came out and they weren't doing any more DLCs for the game, it just became stale. I'm sorry. But with Jurassic World Evolution 2 coming out November 9th, I'm really excited to see what they do with this. I'm already excited for the aquatics and the variety of pterosaurs in the game, and it's just, you know, really exciting. You know, I I cannot wait for Jurassic World Evolution 2 to come out, and I might do a play series on Evolution 2, if you guys want me to, that is. And that's going to have to wrap it up for this Q&A. I hope I answered your questions, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. It would really help out a ton. Let me know in the comments down below what other questions you may have, and they might end up in Q&A number 4, you never know. But until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. So long!
It was at this moment that he knew.
He was screwed.